This week we feature the President of MapleTronics, Jon Morningstar. Jon, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Craig.
This is the second time we've gotten to see each other today.
Yes.
We
Follow me to lunch.
did not mean to eat one table away from you today.
It's all good.
But I literally texted Jon at 12:22, said, "Hey, are we still good to go for 4 o'clock?" And at 10:29, I get seated right next to you at the table.
Yeah, it was good. Good restaurant.
Well, let's open this up with a fun question. What's something that nobody or very few know about you?
Something that very few know about me. One of the things that I have been learning to do and enjoying a lot lately is using my smoker and smoking meat. So depends on what circles. Some people hear me talk way too much about it, so they know a lot about it. But in general, it's something that I've been doing and enjoying more of.
Are you taking like a master class on it at all?
Just reading and YouTube videos, kind of the 2020s way to figure things out. Just watch videos.
And has that been just as of late, or have you been at this for some years now?
No, as of late. So my wife has been wanting me to do this for a long time. She's like, "Hey, you should do this. I think you'd really enjoy it." And I have drugged my feet because I knew I would get sucked into the black hole of how much time you can spend doing this. And so I said, no, let's not do this yet. So then end of last year or the middle of last summer, James E said, "Hey, let's do this." And I said, "Yep, okay, I'm ready now." So I did that, and I was right that it takes a lot of time, but it's also a lot of fun. So that was multiple hours this weekend doing that. So two different smokes. One was 4 hours, and one was about 5 hours when you add prep and all the other things.
So I was in the market for buying a grill as of recent, and I went to the Facebook basically poll. I put out the post, and gosh, got all the men to just submit all types of recommendations. What kind of a grill did you land on?
So I have my main grill is a Weber, and so great grill for my smoker. I got a Pit Boss for that. So since I already had a grill that I was really like vertical, I wanted just on a horizontal grill. I didn't want a horizontal smoker, and I wanted a pellet because as much work as I'm already spending on it, I didn't want to spend even more work to get something where it was a charcoal base. So I got a pellet smoker, and the vertical has been great. And Pit Boss is the one that makes a vertical one like that, so it's been good.
I landed on a pellet grill too.
Okay,
love it.
Did you get a Traeger, or what kind did you get?
A Rectech.
Okay,
Rectech. Plug that bad boy in, hit start, and we are off and running.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Is that a horizontal one then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, good. Well, tell us about MapleTronics. I know we've got locations here and then also, I think, down in Tennessee, if that's right.
Northern Indiana, Middle Tennessee.
Tell us about the history of the company and just kind of where you guys are at today.
Yeah, so we have been around since 1992. Started as a retail store out of a Radio Shack, actually. So just selling personal computers. Has over the years transformed ourselves many times as the environment changed and needs and the ways we could provide value to our clients has changed. So from just selling PCs to then selling servers to doing networks to adding in training and adding in internet services, all kinds of things that we've started and then stopped over the years to become where we are today. So today we are a IT outsourcing for businesses, primarily small businesses at 50 to 250 person companies.
Got it. Okay, so that's kind of the sweet spot.
That is our sweet spot.
Yeah. Got it. And within the company's kind of direction, you mentioned local, but your reach is, I'm assuming, beyond just kind of Goshen area.
Yeah, so our reach would be South Bend, so St. Joe County, Elkhart County, LaGrange, then up into Michigan, so Cassopolis, Niles. So kind of within that 50 to 50, 60-mile range of where we're at, of our locations. So same thing then down in Middle Tennessee. So one of the things that is very important to us is having that local presence and local connection and relationship. So we're very much a relationship driven organization, and to expand that too far and isn't something that fits really who we are as our culture or our business model. So
Yeah.
that local company is local. At least someone has local. So we have clients that have their main offices here, but then I'll have an office somewhere else. So we do that all the time. But it's the ones that are some sort of local relationship and local connection.
So how did we land in Tennessee?
So I was been part of an acquisition. So in 2009, we purchased another managed service provider down there.
Okay. So bringing, total team count, kind of where are you guys landing as far as employees?
So we're at 70 today.
Up to 70.
Yeah.
Got it. One of my favorite questions to ask leaders of organizations, especially growing ones, is what is next? What is on the horizon for you guys?
So big thing that we see is just continuing to see where we can provide more value to our clients from a understanding of new technologies. So AI is one that's a buzzword, a lot of things around that. How can we continue to both use it to help ourselves be more efficient, and then also how can we help our clients figure out how to navigate that landscape. Another thing that we are working on is what would expansion look like to other areas as we continue to do that in the way that we can stay local with those local relationships.
You mentioned AI.
Yes.
How have you seen AI come into your world?
So we
and company, I guess.
Yeah, and company. Yeah. So so Microsoft released Copilot, which was a big new offering that we had starting in February of this year. So it is pretty new and pretty raw, but also has a lot of potential. So I feel like a lot of things around AI is all about, hey, we see the potential for it. And now we need to land it and get it to be worked into our day-to-day work. So just currently what we're doing is getting the tools into the hands of our different teammates. So just today, someone messaged me and said, "Hey, I used AI and it really helped me with one of my tasks that I was doing." So
yeah,
a lot of that enablement for our teammates to be able to be more efficient, be more effective, and just do their jobs better. One of the things that I saw a month or two ago here was that a quote that AI won't replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans. So the idea is it's just one more tool, like the other things that we use on a daily basis, like going to Google to research or whatever those types of things are.
So if I were to ask you if AI excites you or makes you nervous, where do you kind of land on that scale?
I'm definitely on the excited side. But I'm a technology person, so that's where I'm at. I don't worry about it taking away jobs. I don't worry about it being some of those other things. I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I'm not saying there can't be organizations that don't utilize it in a way that is. Any tool can be misused, right? But you hear some of those buzzwords where they're saying, "Oh, we're going to implement AI and we're going to downsize by 2,000 people." I'm not saying that that's not something that won't happen anywhere, but in general, I don't see that as the major impact that it will have overall in the economy as a whole. We, in general, are short on. There's not a when we're looking for new teammates, to hire somebody. It's not like there's thousands of people rushing down the doors. We need to make sure that we are able to expand using the skills and the resources that the people have, and just one more tool to them to be able to do their jobs easier, make their jobs more fun, and take away some of the things that are the less interesting parts of your jobs. That's where I see it being.
Yeah,
the excitement around it being.
Yeah, you mentioned it being fun. I've had a ton of fun with AI.
Yeah.
It's improved different processes that we have. It's made parts of what I do easier,
Hmm.
and even more fun. So yeah, so if you haven't played around with AI, I would encourage anybody to do that.
Yeah.
So
Easy way, just create a chat GPT account. It's free. Go do that. Play with it. Have fun. Yeah.
I had a buddy that planned his trip overseas using Chat GPT.
Hmm.
And this was 12 months ago.
Yeah.
Not just here as of late, where most people are utilizing it, but yeah. Anyway, so we can talk about AI for quite some time.
Probably good. Yeah.
I do want to get to your leadership journey,
Yeah.
because you've been here with MapleTronics since
Since 2019.
2019.
Yep.
Walk us through your leadership journey.
Yeah. So it's taking a step back from that, where I was at here before MapleTronics. I had my wife, my brother, and I founded another technology service provider here in Goshen. Founded that in 2004. Ran that until 2019 when we merged with MapleTronics. Came in here as as the my initial title was VP of integration. So my main role was to help with the integration of the two organizations, work on the cultural integration, work on the process and the systems and all those integrations. And then after 6 months, was then promoted to president as part of Wes Herschberger, who's the founder of MapleTronics, as part of his succession plan and his legacy plan. So he is now completely out of the day to day, and it's me and the rest of the team here running the show, so to speak.
So what was that transition like for you, going from running the company to now merging with a larger company? I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah.
Uh, how did you lead through those times?
Uh, yeah. So it was part of the journey that I needed to make, and the timing of it wasn't necessarily the greatest because I was promoted just at the end of 2019, and then a couple months later, COVID hits, and so I went from leading a team of 18 people to now leading a team of whatever we were back then. Around We were about the same size, so around 70, and doing it through COVID. So it was a lot of challenges, a lot of learning for me. One of the things that I have always tried to do is staying in learning mode and just working on myself as a leader, as a person, as a husband, father, all those different aspects and different circles uh, of my life, and through that, just being the best I can in each one of those. So
What did you learn? I know you learned a lot through
yeah.
that time period of the
So
2020
give
to
it give it well I one of my so an example of what I've learned there, probably one of the biggest examples I would learn, is that especially me coming into not being a new leader but being newly leading of this combined
right.
organization, that I was very aware of of everything that we had at stake. I mean, we have the livelihood of so many families, and I really want to make sure I'm doing well for them. The thing that I did, like one of the things I talk about, this is one of my biggest leadership mistakes, is that I really started focusing on cash flow and how we were going to deal with the PPP money and how we were going to deal with all these other peripheral functions of the business. How we were going to, like, we were having daily COVID meetings, like how are we going to what's our COVID protocol, what are we going to do when we go to clients, and these are all, I'm not trying to say they weren't important things,
Right.
but they became 90%, I feel like, of what we focused on, and really took away from like what is our true mission, what's the culture that we're creating, what are we trying to accomplish for our teammates and for our clients. And so about 3 4 months in, I kind of, that just hit me, like I have lost focus on what's really important, what our mission here as MapleTronics is. So our mission is to empower others. So, and the two main piece components of that is empowering our clients. So through technology, how do we help them do whatever so if it's manufacturing, help them do their widgets better through the technologies and the expertise that we can provide there, and with our teammates, how do we help them have just success in life, whatever that looks like, from from a financial career aspect to a growth and learning aspect to all those different components of what success looks like for them. And we really got away from that. So we got in front of, I remember fairly clearly, got in front of everybody, apologized for kind of like losing focus on that, and said, we are done focusing on COVID. Not that it's going away, and not that we're not going to continue to make sure we're doing the right protocols and all of that, but we're going to make sure that it's not what we're focused on. It is going to still be there, but we're focusing, and we're going back to what our mission is. We're focusing on our mission, and we got shirts printed up that said "Back to Mission" and all the kinds of things, and just really like, hey, this is important. This is a big deal. We're doing this. So yeah, so there's like every once in a while I'll see somebody floating around with a 2020 shirt that says "Back to Mission" and has our mission printed on the back of it, and just a visual reminder to everybody of how important that is. And so that was one of my big leadership learning lessons, that keep the main thing, and why we're really here. We're not here to figure out COVID protocol. We need to make sure that stuff doesn't, we got to be safe, got to do all those things. And it's not like we're suddenly just stuck our heads in the sand and pretend it didn't exist.
Right.
But that's not why we're here. We're here to empower our teammates, empower our clients, and just do right by all of them. So
I'm going to mark off that question of what's your favorite failure, because I don't know if it's your favorite, but that's a pretty good one there that you learned from.
Yeah.
You mentioned being a continuous learner in all aspects of life.
That is a big value for me, yeah.
Open that up for us. What does that look like? What do you do on a daily basis, monthly basis, and whatever that may be?
Yeah, so one of the big things for me, and what I think of is I think of it in terms of what are my rhythms. So in two aspects, what are my rhythms? How do I kind of keep things going? So basically habits, but if I think of it in rhythms, it's feels more organic, more fluid for me, and I can relate with it better. And so I've daily, weekly, quarterly, month, and annual rhythms that I go through. So for some examples of that, kind of starting with my daily ones. Just starting the day off with a time of prayer and reflection, starting my day off with exercise most days, depends on how early my meetings are. But having a continual time of being able just to focus on the right things, focus on keeping me centered, so that I can then be in a better place, in a healthy place to then support and lead others, whether that's in my family, whether that's here at work or in the community. So that's kind of some of my daily things. So I definitely read a lot, and usually have 3 books going at one time. That's kind of the rhythm that has worked well for me. And then weekly, I have connections with several different mentors that I work with. I have a business coach that I pay to help me be a better leader. And then quarterly, something new that I've started here I started middle of last year, is once a quarter I take a day just to get away to a cabin, and just me, my thoughts, prayers. I call it my focus / God day, and being able to just, again, like reflect on the previous quarter, and then think about, okay, where am I going both this next year, this next longer term, and then what am I doing in this next quarter? So, and I keeping me. I have a kind of a agenda that I go through, and just that has been a big add. That has been something I've been talking about for years, and then finally started it this last year, and it's scheduled for every quarter for the rest of this year. So it's something I'm going to keep scheduled and keep doing. So that's been good.
I want to pull on a couple of those threads there for a second.
Yeah. I threw a lot out there, but you asked broad questions, so there's my broad answer.
No, those are great answers. The morning.
Yeah.
Time in prayer, time in reflection.
Right.
Is there anything specific that you do with that time of reflection? Is it journaling? Is it just thinking about the gratitude, just having gratitude for the day? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so it's a combination of those. So I do have a journal that I write in probably 5 times a week, and so I have a list of different things that I do. And one of the things that I have found for me is if I have this checklist, I have to do these exact same four things every morning, then it becomes stale. But I have a list of different things that I do, then I can, some days I do two of them, some days I do four of them. So the list would be just gratitude and just reflecting on the things that I'm grateful for. And that would be one of them. Another one would be in my journal, doing some journaling. Another one is spending time in devotions, reading the Bible, and then also just time reading in general.
Wow.
That would be my mix of different things that I have. So,
How hard was it for you to carve out a whole day? Last fall, was it, for the first time?
yeah,
And protect that time as you got closer and closer and closer to that date and not pushing that off
it took me
again.
about 6 years to do it for the first time. So maybe is that an answer? Because I literally had been talking to people about it for a long time that I was going to do it. So, in the end, I sat there and I realized you make time for the things that you want to make time for. And I thought, I'm going to try this. I'll see if it's as valuable as I think it might be, and we'll just go. I've been working on just pulling back and taking time uh, to unplug, disconnect, and do that. So 2 to 3 weeks a year, try to do that just to be able to unplug, disconnect. So went to the East Coast here over spring break and did some hiking, did some sightseeing, and just unplugged during that time. So that's been helpful. So working on that. So I would say it's kind of in the same vein as that, taking a day just to unplug and just be really. So
I did that back in the fall. It was an afternoon. I think
yeah,
it was in November, and it was it was a special time,
yeah.
and one that I haven't done again. But if I look back on last year, like I can remember, that was like one of my favorite days.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look forward
I
to
do.
yeah?
I do. Next Monday is my next one. So got a couple of, so next week on Monday, I will be unplugged and unavailable if you text me.
Do not reach out to John on
I
Monday.
think you can. It's fine. You just won't get a
him.
response. It'll be
Well, you've now mentioned you mentioned books, you mentioned reading.
good. Yep.
What are some of your favorite books and why?
Yeah. So I actually get asked this question a lot. So I have a list of about 20, 25 books that I send people when they ask me this question, but I'll give you a quick summary. Uh, so I really appreciate books that a couple different things. So I three types of genres that I read the most of. So biographies, learning about what others have done going before me. So biographies about Abraham Lincoln. So one of my favorite books would be a book called Team of Rivals, which is a Lincoln biography by something Goodman. Doris Goodman, I think is what her name was or is. That's a great one. Alexander Hamilton by Chernow is another great biography. So biographies like that would be one. Another one is just leadership and life and culture type books. So two big ones there for me are one called Go Giver by Bob Berg. Great book, just about just life philosophy of how to just invest in others, which is a big piece and big value of mine. Another one is one that's called the Servant by James Hunter, which is a great book about, again, how to lead, how to be a servant leader, what does that look like, and those. So those would be two kind of on that, and then I always, when people ask me for my longer list, I'm always throwing in Lencioni books and a lot of others like that. So another one that I list on my main my short list would be one that's called Getting Things Done by David Allen. So he has a framework that has been super helpful for me. I have a lot of tasks. I have a lot of demands. I really need to be able to focus that well. And one of my big values is when I promise something that I'm going to do for somebody is that I actually accomplish that and get back to them and do that. And so that's been a good framework for me to be able to help follow through on my commitments and making sure I'm doing what I say I'm going to do. So those are probably some big ones that have been more life impacting for me.
Okay, if we had to narrow it down to one, you get one to take on a vacation. What would the one be?
One book that I would read over and over again, kind of thing, uh, on vacation. So then I might throw in like a fiction book then too. uh, for life impact, I probably would say the Go Giver book by Bob.
Okay.
So,
All righty.
but I do have a group of fiction books that I enjoy reading also. So
Well,
kind of a wide spread.
well, being an individual and a leader of this company, an individual within the community, I'm sure you get asked to do a lot of things. How do you balance what you say yes to and what you say no to? Obviously, you said yes to this, so I'm very thankful you did that.
Well,
Have you figured out a science to this or a framework?
framework would probably be better than science. I don't think there is a science. I think a lot of it is knowing my why, what I'm trying to accomplish, what I feel like I am best at, and what I feel like God's created me to do. So my personal why is to inspire excellence in others. So and then I have certain things that I feel like I'm better at. So I am not the um, there's some things that I'm asked to do that I'm not necessarily as gifted at. I'm not going to be as successful for that for them. So those are the ones that are easy to take off. So the hard ones then become when there's 3 or 4 opportunities that I feel like I would be able to make an impact, and I feel like I would do fit my strengths and be able to provide provide value
Right.
to whatever it is, right? And so when that comes up, I really just need to step back, and what I always remind myself is that when I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else. So I need to step back and think, okay, what would I be saying no to? How do I make sure I protect my time with my wife, with my family, with my son, and also protect my time where I'm investing in myself. So because ultimately, if I'm not protecting that time in those other domains, then I'm not going to be any good for. Eventually, I'll burn out. I'll lose focus. I won't make the impact that I ultimately want to make, and I believe I was created to make. So, um, I don't know if that really answers your question completely. Other than it's never an easy thing, and so either I would say it depends on what the how big the opportunity is and what it is that I have in front of me. How I how I approach it. So something that it's an hour to spend lunch with somebody, it's a lot easier question than joining a board or something that's going to be
Right.
a long term investment. So
Right. Um, you've now talked about making investments in yourself and this continuous improvement thought.
yeah,
Who have been the individuals that have helped kind of become a catalyst to where you're at today?
yeah. So there's there's been so many. So and hard to narrow it down, but
Right.
definitely my dad has been, and both my parents have been a big influence in my life. Grew up, they were business owners, and so kind of grew up in that type of home and that type of environment, meeting other business owners and things like that growing up. So I was able to kind of see what that life was like and kind of what that leadership role would be. Uh, my pastor from growing up was a mentor for me for many years and helped me kind of develop into who I am. And then Wes Herschberger, founder here of MapleTronics, has been a mentor here as more as of late, just to help me kind of learn how to be the leader that I want to be, and to um, also think through how do I not only focus on how do I be the leader today, but how do I become the leader I need to be a year from now, 5 years from now, as I continue to grow into more of those things that are in front of me.
I've got two final questions for you.
Yeah.
What what are you most proud of?
Most proud of? Huh. Uh, I would say over anything.
Over anything.
uh, Probably my son, and just how the young man he's starting to grow into, and the impact that James and I have had on him. So my son's 14. Hasn't been the easiest road for him. He's autistic on the spectrum, and we diagnosed Don and Riley back when he was, well, when he was 2. So it's been a journey with him, but to see how far he's come is pretty amazing.
That's pretty special. What about one of the kindest things? Is always the closing question.
Okay.
What's one of the kindest things somebody's done for you, you, your family, or just within things here at MapleTronics?
Same as I've said on many of these others. There's been so many kind things. I mean, we here at MapleTronics, I'll. It's hard to answer that question because I will, by just picking one, I'll obviously exclude so many others. But to pick on one, since you said MapleTronics, and since I said family for some of the other ones, I'll pick on that. I often think and talk to Wes about how we and MapleTronics today is standing on the shoulders of all he had accomplished over his years here, and his willingness to walk through the transition from him to me, and his just belief and encouragement over the last several years has been huge for me. So he's been a big impact on me and in my leadership and kind of where I see us going as an organization as well. So I'll say that.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Definitely.
I have each one of these. You take a few nuggets from, and I've taken plenty from this. So thank you for just sharing a little bit more of your story, MapleTronics story, and just allowing us to kind of learn more about you. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Craig.